I used to think waking up early was just about setting an alarm and getting to bed on time, until I learned the hard way that it doesn't matter if you sleep 8 hours, you can still wake up exhausted. Have you ever felt that? Or maybe you've gone to bed with a problem, and somehow the answer was waiting for you in the morning. That's not luck. That's your brain doing its best work while you sleep. And here's the twist. It only happens if your evenings are set up the right way. Today, I'm going to show you the same night routine that the great minds in history relied on. One that turns 4 a.m. wake-ups from torture into most productive, creative, and peaceful hours of your life. Let's start with one of the biggest mistakes people make. Thinking that waking early is about how many hours you're in bed. It's not. Your brain doesn't measure rest in hours, it measures it in cycles. If you've ever had what felt like a full night's sleep, but still woke up feeling foggy, chances are you woke up mid-cycle. That's like pulling a cake out of the oven halfway through baking. It's going to collapse. The Stoics didn't have sleep apps, but they understood rhythms. Epictetus spoke about following nature's order, and part of that order is the way your brain moves through light sleep, deep sleep, and REM. Each cycle lasts about 90 minutes, and you'll go through 4 to 6 of them each night. Deep sleep happens more in the first half. That's when your body is repairing tissue, boosting your immune system, and balancing hormones. REM sleep, which comes more in the later cycles, is when your brain processes memories, problem solves, and sparks creativity. Here's the key: if you wake in the middle of a cycle, you're groggy. Wake at the end of a cycle, and you feel naturally alert. So instead of just going to bed early, work backwards from the time you want to wake. If 4 a.m. is your goal, that might mean lights out at 8:30 p.m. for 5 full cycles, or 10 p.m. for 4. Less optimal, but still aligned. It's like catching a bus. Arrive just as it's pulling in, and you hop on with no stress. Show up mid-route, and you're chasing it from the start. You also have to protect both halves of the night. That means no late-night alcohol, because it robs you of quality REM. Keep your room dark, because even a little light can disrupt it. And skip the heavy, spicy meals before bed. They fragment your deep sleep and keep your body busy digesting when it should be repairing. When you align your sleep to cycles, instead of just counting hours, you wake up with clarity instead of confusion. You've completed both the repair phase of deep sleep and the creative, memory-boosting phase of REM. That's why a 4 a.m. morning can feel like midday to everyone else. It's the difference between charging your phone to 100% overnight versus yanking it off at 63%. Both will turn on, but only one will last all day without crashing. And here's where the Stoics come in. Marcus Aurelius wrote that we should awake to do the work of man. But you can't do the work if your mind is dulled by poor rest. The discipline isn't just in waking early, it's in honoring the preparation that makes waking early sustainable. 2, we have anchor your evening with a definitive stop. When Marcus Aurelius sat down to write before bed, he wasn't just journaling for fun, he was closing his mental shop for the day. Think of it like locking the door to your brain's office so no urgent thoughts sneak in after hours. Because if you go to bed with your mind still open for business, you're letting your brain's accountant work overtime, sorting through every email, every decision, every "I still have to" list. And all that mental bookkeeping robs you of the deep, restorative sleep you need to bounce out of bed at 4 a.m. This is where having a set work-off time comes in, ideally 2 to 3 hours before bed. This is your mental sunset. That moment you tell yourself, no more creating, no more problem solving. We're closing tabs now. Think of your phone at 1% battery. You wouldn't start filming a video or editing photos at that moment. You'd plug it in and let it recharge. Your brain is the same. Keep pushing late into the night, and you'll wake up tomorrow already running on 40% energy. But it's not just about stopping work. It's about switching from problem-solving mode into processing mode. Problem-solving mode is active, alert, constantly scanning for answers. Processing mode is calm, reflective, quietly connecting dots in the background, and it's the one that works while you sleep. Have you ever gone to bed frustrated over a problem, only to wake up with the answer? That's processing mode at work. But it only happens if you stop feeding your mind new problems before bed. One of the easiest ways to trigger that shift is with a quick 3-line evening journal. This isn't a long, drawn-out diary entry, just 3 short, intentional lines. First, what you did well. This gives you closure and a little dopamine boost, like telling yourself, we made progress today. It might be, I stuck to my budget all day, or I had a meaningful conversation with my daughter. Second, what you could improve. Gentle, honest accountability without self-criticism. Something like, I scrolled on my phone too long after dinner. And third, one gratitude entry. This rewires your brain toward contentment, and as Seneca said, he who has learned to be content will not be disturbed by loss of sleep. When you go to bed feeling you already have enough, your mind stops grasping for more. When you end your evening this way, you go to sleep with mental clarity. You've closed the loop on your day, your body is in wind-down mode, and your mind isn't dragging yesterday's chaos into your dreams. It's like tidying the kitchen before bed. You don't wake up to yesterday's mess. You wake up ready to cook something fresh. 3 we have, prime your body for deep sleep, and you set the stage for a 4 a.m. energy surge that actually lasts. The truth is, most people who try to wake at 4 a.m. don't fail because they lack willpower. They fail because they sabotage their sleep before they even lay down. Deep sleep isn't about how many hours you spend in bed. It's about the quality of that time. If you've ever slept a full 8 hours and still felt tired, you already know what I mean. And here's where ancient wisdom and modern science meet. The Stoics believed in living in harmony with nature, and sleep research today says the same thing. Your evening habits can make or break your rest. One of the biggest factors is your last meal. Eating too close to bedtime is like asking your body to host a dinner party when it was planning to go to sleep. Instead of focusing on repair and recovery, it's stuck digesting, which raises your core temperature and disrupts deep sleep. Ever tried to sleep after a heavy holiday dinner? You wake up groggy, not just because of the food, but because your body spent the night working overtime. That's why finishing dinner at least 3 hours before bed is a game changer. And if you're genuinely hungry later, keep it light. A banana or herbal tea is plenty. Think of dinner as your sleep fuel. What you eat at night programs how you'll feel when the alarm goes off. Lean proteins like turkey, salmon, or eggs provide tryptophan, which your body turns into melatonin, the sleep hormone. Magnesium-rich greens like spinach, kale, or broccoli help your muscles relax and your nervous system calm down. Add complex carbs like quinoa, sweet potato, or oats to support serotonin production, which also improves sleep quality. But avoid heavy fried foods that slow digestion, sugary desserts that spike and crash your blood sugar, and late-day caffeine that can linger for 6 to 8 hours. Cooling your core is another powerful trigger for deep sleep. We naturally sleep better when the body's temperature drops slightly. Think of how cozy it feels to be under a warm blanket in a cool room. You get the temperature drop you need while staying comfortable. Keep your bedroom between 18 to 20 degrees Celsius, 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Wear light pajamas in breathable fabrics like cotton or bamboo, and if you tend to overheat, try a quick lukewarm shower before bed. And don't forget, the first half of the night is when most of your deep sleep happens. This is when your brain detoxes, your muscles repair, and your hormones rebalance. Disrupt it with late-night snacks, stress, or bright lights, and you rob yourself of the foundation that makes early rising possible. It's like building a house without laying the concrete first. Everything you put on top is unstable. When you prime your body for deep sleep, you're not wrestling yourself out of bed in the morning. You wake up because you've fully recharged, not because the alarm dragged you out of a fog. Imagine your phone at 100% battery after a night of charging. You don't need to nurse it through the day, it just works. That's you after a night when your body had exactly what it needed to recover. 4. We have the mind cool down ritual, training your brain to welcome sleep. Here's the thing. Your body could be perfectly ready for sleep, but if your mind is still sprinting, you're not going to rest deeply. It's like parking a car with the engine still running. Technically, it stopped, but it's still burning fuel. The Stoics knew the value of shutting the mind down at night so it could serve them fully in the morning. Leonardo da Vinci, Benjamin Franklin, and countless other great thinkers had structured evening wind downs, not because they were fragile, but because they understood that tomorrow's success starts tonight. That's why it's so important to give yourself a buffer, at least half an hour, ideally a full hour, to start winding down before sleep. This isn't wasted time. It's preparing the runway so you can land smoothly into deep rest. Think of it like baking bread. You can't just throw it in the oven the moment you mix the dough. It needs time to rise. Your mind is the same. It needs that rise time. One of the best things you can do in that window is go screen-free. Bright, blue light from phones, tablets, and TVs tells your brain, it's still daytime, shutting down melatonin, your body's natural sleep switch. You wouldn't drink espresso while trying to nap, right? Blue light is basically caffeine for your brain. If you must check something, use a strong blue light filter. But if you can, put your phone to charge in another room so you're not tempted to scroll. Instead of screens, choose something low stimulation to read. A biography that teaches without adrenaline spikes, poetry that calms the mind and stirs the imagination, or philosophy that helps you zoom out and see the day in perspective. This gives your brain gentle, meaningful input, letting it drift into the calmer frequency that's the gateway to sleep. You can also ease your body into rest with light stretching or gentle yoga. This isn't about breaking a sweat. It's about telling your body, we're done fighting gravity for today. Gentle stretches release the tension you've built up from sitting, standing, or even emotional stress you've carried in your shoulders or jaw. Think of a cat stretching before curling up for a nap. It's instinctive preparation for deep rest. Before you turn out the lights, set your mind up for tomorrow with an intention journal prompt. Write down your single most important task for the next day, then one short line, answering, what am I leaving behind from today? It could be tomorrow's focus, finish the chapter draft, and leaving behind, worry over the client's delayed email. Your brain loves clear instructions, and when you give it one, it starts making subconscious connections overnight, so you wake not just rested, but with fresh ideas waiting. To seal the wind down, try a simple breathing exercise the Stoics would have appreciated. The 4 to 7 to 8 method. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 7, exhale slowly for 8. Repeat 3 or 4 times and your nervous system gets the message, all is safe, sleep can begin. When you cool the mind this way, you fall asleep faster, get higher quality deep sleep, and wake without the mental junk from yesterday. It's like closing all the tabs on your computer before shutting it down. In the morning, it boots instantly. No frozen screens, no slow load times, just a clean, clear start. 5, we have built the wake-up debt. How to make 4 a.m. feel effortless. Here's the truth. Most people fail at early rising because they think it's purely a matter of willpower. They set the alarm for 4 a.m. and then, shocker, their body rebels. But it's not because they're lazy. It's because their internal clock is still tuned for late nights. You wouldn't expect to fly to another time zone and instantly feel alert at sunrise, and your body works the same way. It needs cues, clear, repeated signals to shift its rhythm. The Stoics understood this about routine. They weren't obsessed with the hour itself. They were obsessed with the signal that told the body and mind, it's time. Light is one of those signals. In fact, it's your body's most powerful time manager. Your circadian rhythm runs on it. When the sun sets, start reducing bright light exposure. Switch from overhead lighting to warm, dim lamps. And if you can, end your night in the glow of candlelight or soft Edison bulbs. Think of your brain like a toddler. Keep the lights bright and the TV blaring, and it will keep playing. Dim the lights and soften the sounds, and he naturally starts yawning on his own. Temperature is another silent sleep trigger. Your core body temperature needs to drop slightly for sleep to begin, and drop even more for deep sleep to flourish. Cool your bedroom to around 18 to 20 degrees Celsius, and if you want an extra push, take a lukewarm shower about 30 minutes before bed to help your core cool faster. Here's why this matters for early rising. When your body cools at night, it naturally begins to warm back up in the early morning, which is your body's cue to wake. You're not forcing yourself up. You're aligning with a natural rhythm that's already in motion. Then there's consistency, the secret weapon almost no one takes seriously. If you want to wake at 4 a.m. easily, you can't keep shifting your bedtime. The Stoics lived by predictable rhythms, the same sleeping and waking windows every single day. When you go to bed and wake at the same time, even on weekends, your body begins to wake naturally, sometimes before the alarm even goes off. Think about it like your favorite coffee shop. If it opened at random hours, you'd never build a habit of going. Your body works exactly the same way. You also have to protect yourself from what I call evening stimulants, because they steal tomorrow's energy without you realizing it. That 1 cup of tea at 6 p.m.? It could still be in your system hours later. Scrolling through social media? It keeps your brain lit up like Times Square. Even a late-night heated conversation can keep you wired. You wouldn't invite a marching band to rehearse in your living room while you're trying to sleep. But that's exactly what these habits do to your mind. And if you've been going to bed late for years, your body won't suddenly fall asleep earlier just because you want it to. You have to give it a reason. Build what I call wake-up debt. The gentle, healthy tiredness that makes sleep irresistible. Get some daylight movement in, walks, light workouts, and avoid long naps late in the day. If you must nap, keep it short and before 3 p.m. so you don't rob your nighttime sleep drive. When you do all this, 4 a.m. stops being a battle. You're no longer yanking yourself out of bed with sheer force. Instead, you've trained your body to see it as the logical time to wake, because you've already had full, quality sleep. It's like a plant turning toward the sun. You don't force it, you just give it the right conditions, and it happens naturally. And here's where the Stoics would nod in agreement. They valued self-discipline, but they also respected nature's laws, including the body's need for complete rest cycles. If you want that 4 a.m. wake-up to feel natural, aim for 90-minute multiples so you wake at the end of a sleep cycle instead of in the middle of one. 7.5 hours is often the sweet spot. Track your REM and deep sleep if you can, and protect that first half of the night like it's gold, cool, dark, and free of caffeine or alcohol. Because when you give your body this kind of respect, it gives you mornings that feel unstoppable. 6, we have the nighttime mindset, from I have to I get to. If you go to bed thinking, I have to get up at 4 a.m., your brain already sees it as a punishment. And that mindset will make your mornings feel like a fight you keep losing. But when you flip that thinking into, I get to wake up at 4 a.m., everything changes. Now it becomes an opportunity, not a chore. The Stoics practiced this reframe constantly. Seneca often reminded himself that life is short and that each day ahead is a gift. He didn't wake up begrudging the hour. He woke up grateful for another chance to live according to his values. The key is to make the morning something you crave. You're not just getting up early to tick boxes off a to-do list. You're waking up for something that excites you. Maybe it's writing in the stillness before the world wakes. Maybe it's walking in the first light of dawn. Maybe it's diving into a passion project without interruptions. It's like setting an early alarm on vacation because you want to catch the sunrise. It stops being too early when it's for something you love. One of the simplest ways to lock in that mindset is with a 60-second gratitude anchor before you sleep. Take a deep breath and say, out loud or in your journal, "Tomorrow I get to start fresh, with clarity, before the world demands my attention." You're telling your subconscious that the early morning is a privileged head start, not a sacrifice. It also helps to picture your future self thanking you. Imagine yourself 6 months from now, fitter, calmer, more financially stable, because you stuck with this habit. That version of you will be grateful for every night you chose discipline over distraction. It's like packing a healthy lunch the night before. You might not feel like doing it in the moment, but tomorrow you will be so glad you did. Marcus Aurelius captured this perfectly when he wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." That's not just poetry, it's perspective. Most of the world is still hitting snooze, but you're awake, alive, and making use of the quiet hours when opportunity hides in plain sight. And that's why this works so well for a 4 a.m. wake-up. When the hour is tied to purpose and privilege, you don't drag yourself out of bed. You rise into the morning, almost as if your body knows it's being invited to something important. It's the same difference between being woken up for a dentist appointment and being woken up to catch a flight to your dream destination. The hour doesn't change, the reason does. 7, we have optional add-ons for creative flow. Letting your sleeping mind work for you. The great minds in history didn't only use the night for rest, they used it as a creative incubator. Think of Thomas Edison taking thinking naps, or Salvador Dali drifting into light sleep with a key in his hand, ready to catch new ideas the moment his mind wandered. The Stoics had their own version of this too, planting thoughts in the evening so the subconscious could work on them while they slept. It's a blend of discipline and trust. Setting a clear intention, then letting the mind take over. As you're lying in bed, lightly rehearse tomorrow's most important project or decision. Not in a tense, problem-solving way, but more like setting the stage for your brain to explore during dreams. If you're writing, picture the opening paragraph. If you're working through a challenge, imagine the ideal outcome, then let it go. Your brain's background processor is incredibly active during sleep, and you may wake up with the exact solution or a fresh creative spark. It's like putting bread dough in the oven before bed. You're not watching it rise, but it's still doing its work. To help you drop into deep sleep faster, use a calming breath pattern like box breathing or the 4-7-8 method. This quiets the mind, slows your heart rate, and signals to your nervous system that the day's done. Think of it like dimming the lights in your mind. The brightness on your thoughts fades until you're ready to drift. Before you turn out the lights, have tomorrow's one big win in front of you. A small card or sticky note on your nightstand with the single most important thing you want to achieve. This isn't a to-do list, it's a focal point. Maybe it's film the morning segment before 7 a.m. or finish editing by noon. When you wake, you don't wander into your day. You dive straight into what matters most. Sensory anchors can be a powerful part of this. Many great thinkers use them. A certain scent, a specific pen, a piece of music, as triggers for their best ideas. You can do the same by lighting a particular candle, using a calming essential oil, or playing a soft instrumental playlist you only associate with winding down at night. Over time, these cues become signals for both deep rest and creative readiness. Epictetus once said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." When you set your intention at night, you're deciding who you will be tomorrow morning. And you're letting your sleeping mind start building that person before dawn even arrives. This is how you turn 4 a.m. into a superpower. You're not just waking up early. You're waking up prepared. Your body is fully rested. Your mind is calm, and your best ideas are already waiting for you. It's like setting the coffee machine the night before. You wake to something already brewing, both literally and mentally. And the reason this works is simple. You're following the same structure that Stoics, military leaders, and creative geniuses have used for centuries to protect the clarity of their mornings. You're syncing your body with the natural rhythm of light, food timing, and temperature. And you're going to bed knowing exactly why you'll wake early, not because you should, but because you've set yourself up to want to. In the next video, we're going to go even deeper into one of my favorite tools for creativity and problem solving, thinking naps. These short, intentional rests can unlock ideas you didn't even know you had, sharpen your focus, and train your brain to work for you in ways most people overlook. And if this is your first time watching one of my videos, then this playlist is for you. It will help you master your evenings, own your mornings, and design a daily rhythm that works with you instead of against you. So if you're ready to become a better you, not overnight, but one honest habit at a time, start this journey with me. Hit that subscribe button. Let's do this together. Because the man who rises before the world will one day rise above it.